Let's go to chapter 3, Ruth chapter 3, verse 1.
Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said unto her, My daughter, shall I not seek rest for thee, that it may be well with thee? And now is not Boaz out of our kindred, with whose maidens thou wast?
All right. So Naomi asked a question. She said, you know what I'm saying? We got to seek rest for you. In other words, we got to get you a husband so you can relax, right? And isn't Boaz, ain't he a kinsman, right? Isn't he, don't you know that that's my family now, right? Why do you think she mentioned that?
Because in the law, if someone died, somebody had to be the closest relative, usually a brother or your uncle's son would have to take on the role as a husband.
That's absolutely right, right? Deuteronomy chapter 25.
If your pops didn't have no other sons, then your cousin, your uncle's son had to. Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 25. We're going to start at verse 5.
Or you get a spit in the face or something. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go into her and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her.
Right? So we see what was Ruth really doing when she said, no, I'm staying with you, right? She was keeping the law, right? The law said if the brother died, you know what I'm saying, if they dwell together, no, you don't go off and marry a stranger. So she went back to the land of Judah, right, where Boaz stayed. She can't go and marry no stranger. She can't marry anybody else, right, according to the law. All right, so now she's looking for Boaz. She's looking for a family. And so Naomi is bringing that up to her. Let's read more about this law.
And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead.
Right? So now the brother who's alive, right, or the family member who's alive, he'll go into the wife, right, the wife of the dead husband. Right? He goes into her, and the seed that comes up, the child that comes up, he goes to the name of the one that was dead. All right, so that's not really considered his kid. I'm just doing that to bring up some seed in him so that his seed doesn't end in the land of Israel, which is going to tell him.
That his name be not put out of Israel.
All right, so that his name not be put out of Israel. Oh, yeah, that would have been pretty tragic had that thing died. I thought it was plugged up. Guess not. All right, but they didn't want his name to be put out of Israel. Because what would happen is if he's dead, he doesn't have any children. Now his name stops. Now his inheritance doesn't go through. So it just stops at that point. So now to keep that from happening, his brother, the closest kinsman to him, right? Then he would end up having sex with his wife, right? And then they would bring on children. That's why when we read in Romans chapter 7, it said that now we marry another, talking about the congregation, right? Talking about all the believers in Yahushua, right? He said we will marry another, the one who's risen from the dead. And the reason why we marry him was to do what?
Bring up godly offspring.
Bring up fruit, right? Bring up fruit to God. So it's the same way. Now the fruit to God that he's talking about is talking about our good works, but he's relating it to the same thing as this law, right? When he marry another, the reason why is to bring children that can go on and continue into this man's name, the dead brother's name, right? So this is the law that the Most High God made. Keep going.
And if the man like not to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate unto the elders and say, My husband's brother refuses to raise up unto his brother a name in Israel.
All right. So now, if the man is looking like, nah, I don't want to do that. That's kind of weird. Yeah, I'm good. I don't want to do that. Let's see what happens.
He will not perform the duty of my husband's brother.
All right. So now the woman can go up to him and she get the elders, pull all the elders together. They're like, he don't want to do it. Right? He do not want to do it. That's not right. Let's see what happens.
Then the elders of his city shall call him and speak unto him. And if he stand to it, and say, I like not to take her. Then shall his brother's wife come unto him in the presence of the elders, and loose his shoe from off his foot, and spit in his face, and shall answer and say, so shall it be done unto that man that will not build up his brother's house.
Right? So now she take the shoe off his foot, got to take one of his shoes, right? Then she can spit in his face, right? And so now he'll be known as the one who won't raise up seed. Keep going.
And his name shall be called in Israel the house of him that hath his shoe loosed.
Right? The house of him who has his shoe loose. Keep that in mind now. Ruth chapter 4, verse 1. It is true, though. A woman can do what a man do. A man can't do what a woman do. It's impossible. Not going to happen. He said you can do it.
I'm not doing it. I'll do something that crazy.
It's just not going to happen. Not capable.
Then went Boaz up to the gate and set him down there, and behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by.
Right? So just to cover some of the part that we skipped, in Ruth chapter 3, after he told her that she is a virtuous woman, he said, I'm going to do this for you, but there's somebody that's a more near kinsman to you than I am. See, Boaz keeps the law, right? He said, I'm not about to just cheat just because I like you. I'm not like you. I'm not about to just go around the corner and try to, maybe nobody would notice. He said, no, it's somebody that's a closer kinsman, so technically he's supposed to do this. So he said, let me holler at him first. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to holler at him. So now, chapter 4, he sat down, he made a place for himself, and he saw the man.
Then went Boaz up to the gate and set him down there, and behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by, unto whom he said, ho, such a one, turn aside, sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down.
He said, come over here and sit down with me. Come chop it up with me real quick.
And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, sit ye down here. And they sat down.
So why did he bring the elders of the city?
Because the witness and in the law, the elders were supposed to be there when the brother was supposed to take the wife.
Right? So we just read it out of the law. It's absolutely right that the elders were supposed to be there. All right? So let's hear about what happened now. You see Boaz, he's very precise on the law. We just read it last week about everybody who did what was right in their own eyes. You had people that had idols. They were worshiping the Most High God, but they had idols, right? They sitting there bowing down to him because they are looking like, well, I know who I'm worshiping. As long as I'm worshiping God, this idol don't really mean nothing to me. I'm worshiping God, right? It doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying? No big deal. Most High God is looking at it. That's not what I told you to do, though, right? I told you specifically what you need to do, and that's what we need to do, right? Exactly what he says. So now Boaz is looking at it like, well, let me go exactly according to what the law says. I'm at the gate, right? Because they told bring him to the gate if he didn't want to do it. So he said, I'm at the gate. He already knows he probably ain't going to want to do it. So let me get to the gate. Let me get these elders around, right? He invited the elders. Everybody come on, let's chop it up, right? Keep going.
And he said unto the kinsman Naomi, that is come again out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land, which was our brother Elimelech's. And I thought to advertise thee, saying, buy it before the inhabitants and before the elders of my people.
Right? So now this is a different law. We don't have to go back and get this one, but there's another law in our law that actually tells us that if land is transferred, then kinsmen can redeem that as well. So if I'm of the tribe of Judah and Terrence is of the tribe of Judah, and somehow he loses his land or he dies and leaves, and the only person who has his land is his wife or a widow or something like that, well then me as somebody else from Judah, I can go and I can redeem his land, right, as being a part of his family, right? So he's saying that he said, I came to advertise to you, it's some land, right? He didn't mention the wife part. He said it's some land, right? Naomi, you got some land that you can, you know what I'm saying? I have to advertise for you to redeem it. So let's see what this brother says.
If thou wilt redeem it, redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me that I may know. For there is none to redeem it besides thee, and I am after thee.
All right, so he said, if you don't redeem it, that means it falls to me, right? None to redeem it besides you, and then after you, it's me. See what the brother said.
And he said, I will redeem it.
He said, yeah, I want that land. What you talking about? Where is that? He said, absolutely, I'll redeem it. Let's see.
Then said Boaz, what day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi?
Now Boaz said, hold on now. Now the day that you buy the field from Naomi, right? Remember, Naomi is the mother-in-law. That's the old lady. Now, the day that you buy the field from Naomi, the day that you redeem it, what's going to happen?
Thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance.
Oh, so he said, now after you do that, you know you got to raise up the dead, right? Raise up the lineage from the Moabite woman, right? Yeah, she from Moab. She's from Moab, right? Let's see what the gentleman says now.
And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar my own inheritance.
He said, no, I can't do that unless I mess up my own inheritance. You know what I'm saying? You got me trying to mess with a Gentile? Bro, I can't even do it. I mess up my own inheritance now. He said, never mind. Let's see what happens now.
Redeem thou my right to thyself, for I cannot redeem it.
He said, you go ahead and take it, because I don't want no parts of it. You know what I'm saying? You go ahead and redeem it for yourself, because I cannot take it. Let's see what happens next.
Now this was the manner in former time in Israel concerning redeeming and concerning changing, for a confirm of all things. A man plucked off his shoe and gave it to his neighbor, and this was a testimony in Israel.
Right? So why did he take off his shoe?
Because in the law it says he will be known as the man who had his shoe loosed.
Right? So he loosed his shoe. Right? Loosed his shoe. Because he didn't want to do it. Right? He said, I can't do it. He said, I can't redeem you. I can't redeem these people. I can't redeem that land. I can't redeem Ruth. Can't do it. Go ahead and take the shoe. All right, what happens next?
Therefore the kinsman said unto Boaz, buy it for thee. So he drew off his shoe.
He drew off his shoe.
And Boaz said unto the elders and unto all the people, ye are witnesses this day that I have bought all that was Elimelech's, and all that was Kilion's and Mahlon's of the land and of the hand of Naomi. Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren.
All right, so he brought up fruit to the dead. That's the reason why he did it. So his name won't be cut off among his brethren. All right? So the one who loosed his shoe wasn't able to redeem. The one that got the shoe is the redeemer. He said, you see, now I redeemed it, and I purchased Ruth. Right? Who purchased us?
Christ.
Oh, let's go to John. The book of John, chapter 13. The book of John, chapter 13, verse 4. It's going to make a little sense in a second. John chapter 13, verse 4.
He riseth from supper.
All right, so he rose from supper. He rose from eating, from dinner.
And laid aside his garments and took a towel and girded himself.
All right, this is Yahushua, right? So Yahushua, he laid aside his garments, so he took off just some of his clothes so he didn't get them messy. Then he took a towel to himself after girding his loins.
After that, he poureth water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel wherewith he was girded.
All right, so now the towel that was around his belt, you know what I'm saying, he took that off and started to wipe their feet. They had to have their shoes off, huh? He took their shoe. All right, keep going.
Then cometh he to Simon Peter, and Peter said unto him, Lord, dost thou wash my feet?
He said, why are you trying to take my shoe off? All right, you washing my feet?
Jesus answered and said unto him, what I do thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know hereafter.
Now he said, you're not going to understand right now, but hereafter you're going to understand.
And Peter said unto him, thou shalt never wash my feet.
He said, no, you can't wash my feet. He said, I can't do it.
Jesus answered him, if I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me.
Why would he say that to him? Because if Peter kept the shoe, that means Peter would have to be the one to redeem, right? No, he said, I need that shoe. He said, if I wash thee not, you have no part with me. Let's see. So Peter, what's Peter going to say next?
Simon Peter said unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head.
He said, you might as well get the whole body. That makes sense if we're talking about washing though, right? Let's see what Yahushua said.
And Jesus said unto him, He that is washed needeth not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit. And ye are clean, but not all.
He said, all I need to do is wash your feet. And if I wash your feet, you be clean. Just give me the shoe, please. All I need is that shoe. All right, you give me that shoe, we good. Just let me wash your feet. All right? Because he's the Redeemer. Right? The Redeemer has to get the shoe. Right? It's the person, the ones who take off the shoe, that's the one who I can't do it. I can't be the Redeemer. I can't redeem. Right? But the one who keep the shoe, well, he the one. That's why they didn't wash his feet. He washed theirs. Right? That was important for him. He said, look, you don't understand what I'm doing now. But soon, you're going to understand it and you're going to get it good. All right? Who else tried to take off some shoes?
Did the harlot take off Yahushua's shoes when she was crying?
No, she just cried and washed his feet with her hair. She didn't take off his shoes, though. What about John the Baptist? What did he say?
Whose sandal I'm not worthy to unloose.
He said, I couldn't take it off. Let's try to get it. John chapter 1, verse 19. He said his sandal, I'm not even worthy to take it off. I wonder why he said that. You can cut that out. John chapter 1, verse 19.
And this is the record of John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, Who art thou?
Right? So this is John the Baptist. It's the record. This is what he recorded. All right? So John the Baptist is about to tell the Jews, they sent somebody to question him, like, okay, who are you now? Because they want to know. This is the prophet. You're doing some great things. You baptizing people. We need to find out exactly who are you.
And he confessed and denied not, but confessed, I am not the Christ.
He said, I'm not the Redeemer. Right? I'm not the Christ. All right, keep going.
And they asked him, What then? Art thou Elias? And he saith, I am not. Art thou the prophet? And he answered, No. Then said they unto him, Who art thou? That we may give an answer to them that sent us. What sayest thou of thyself? He said, I am the voice of the one crying in the wilderness, Make straight the way of the Lord, as said the prophet Isaiah. And they which were sent were of the Pharisees. They asked him and said unto him, Why baptizest thou then, if thou be not that Christ, nor Elias, neither the prophet?
He said, why are you baptizing people if you're not the Redeemer, if you're not the Christ? Right? It doesn't make any sense. Let's see what he says next.
John answered them, saying, I baptize with water, but there standeth one among you whom ye know not. He it is who cometh after me is preferred before me, whose shoes latchet I am not worthy to unloose.
That means he's not the Redeemer. Right? He said, now, even if I wanted to unloose his shoe. Remember, the Redeemer unloose. The one who don't want to redeem or can't do it, his shoe gets unloosed. He said, I'm not worthy to take his shoe off. That don't even make no sense. He's the Redeemer. All right, that's what he's trying to tell them. All right, we look at the law and we see this. Oh, he's the Redeemer. They should have caught on at that point. All right, he's talking about somebody who's about to redeem us. All right, go to the law. Let's see. Let's go to Exodus. See if this makes more sense. Exodus chapter 3. Who was one of our first redeemers? Moses, right? Exodus chapter 3, verse 2.
And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of the bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed.
All right, so Moses saw this bush. It's burning with fire, and it's not consumed. Let's see what happens next.
And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called unto him out of the midst of the bush and
He
said,
said, redeem my people.
Moses, Moses.
Redeem my people, please.
And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not nither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet,
Uh-oh.
for the place whereon thy standeth is holy ground.
He told him, you're not the Redeemer. He said, you're not going to be the true Redeemer. Not at all. All right. He said, the place you stand is, go ahead and give me a shoe. So who redeeming at that point?
God.
The Most High God redeeming. He said, you not the redeemer. Give me your shoe. Before we even get started, hey, how you doing? Before we even get started, let's make this clear. You not the redeemer. Go ahead and give me the shoe. Right? Who is our next redeemer? Joshua. Let's go to see what Joshua is talking about. Joshua, chapter 5, verse 13. Joshua chapter 5, verse 13. All right, so this is after Joshua. Joshua, he's coming to the land. All right, and he's going up to battle against Jericho. Remember Rahab? She tied the red scarlet, and the people spared her and her household as long as she stayed in the house. All right, so that was Jericho. All right, so this is right before that happens. All right, so Joshua was looking like, I don't know how we're going to take this city. All right, so he's chilling out. All right, Joshua chapter 5, verse 13.
And it came to pass, when Joshua was by Jericho, that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, Art thou for us or for our adversaries?
All right, so he looked and he saw a man. He had a sword drawn. Right, sword just so he just standing there with a sword. It's like somebody just standing there with a pistol out. Right, he said he looked at him. He said, well, hold on, you friend or foe, right? You with me or are you against us? You with our adversary? What's going on here? Let's see what the man said.
He said, Nay, but as a captain of the hosts of the Lord am I now come.
He said, I come as a captain of the host of Yahuwah. Right? I'm leading Yahuwah people. I'm the head of Yahuwah people.
And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship.
And he worshipped him now. Now, who remembers when we worshiped the angel, what happened?
You must not do that.
Uh-oh.
See that you do not do that.
Angel, so you try to worship an angel now, he's going to tell you quick. Go ahead and get up. I'm not.
I am a servant like you.
I'm just like you now. Don't worship me. Right? But not this angel. This angel said, go ahead and do it. Right? Go ahead. You did the right thing. Go ahead and bow down. You did the right thing. What happens now?
And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship, and said unto him, What saith my Lord unto his servant?
Right? So what saith Yahuwah unto his servant?
And the captain of the Lord's host said unto Joshua, Loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place whereon thy standeth is holy.
He said, before you even get too far into taking over this land, go ahead and give me that shoe. I need that shoe. I need everybody to know you're not the one. You're not the redeemer. Right? Who's the redeemer at this point now? The host, right? I mean, the captain of the host, right? Yahuwah. He came, he said, go ahead and give me the shoe, Joshua. Before you even get to, I'm about to tell you how to go ahead and get over in Jericho, but we need a witness right now just to show you're not going to be the one. Right? Those are the two people that redeemed our people. Right? They brought us out and brought us in. Right? Moses brought us out. Joshua brought us in. Moses brought us out of Egypt. Joshua brought us into the promised land. Right? They were the redeemers of our people. But after that, you had prophets, you had kings, you had a lot of people. Nobody else that redeemed them. Right? Nobody else that brought us from one place and changed our state, right? Changed who we are. Right? Nobody else did that until you get to Yahushua. And what do you know when you get to Yahushua, you have John the Baptist say, now him, I can't take off his shoe now. That don't make no sense for me to try to take off his shoe. I'm not worthy to do that. Right? But then you see him, I got to wash your feet. Listen, you don't understand what I'm doing now, but I got to wash your feet. Well, go ahead and wash my whole body. No, trust me. The only thing I need is your feet. Then you'll be all wick clean. Because he's the Redeemer. Right? He had to show a witness to that. He redeemed the land, which is he going to do, and he purchased the woman, right? Which is the congregation, the church, which is us, right? All of us that believe. He purchased us, right? Let's go ahead.